It's a really hard list to make, but if you're asking for the number one aura farming moment for President Trump in his second term, it's certainly his meeting with Vladimir Putin on the red carpet in Alaska at the military base, where Trump flies a B-2 stealth bomber over Putin's head without telling him what's about to happen. And you can see Putin says impressive and he's actually turning his head, cocking his head around, being like, wow, look at that. Freaking amazing. Like the angles of this are just spectacular. Here they are flying over and they're at the forest at Joint Base Ellendorf Richardson. Just like the freaking, watch Putin. Watch Putin here. It's amazing. And it's a show of force. It's a sign of respect. It's what I want my president doing. I would be totally fine with President Trump doing this with every single Middle Eastern leader, including the Ayatollah or the gay Ayatollah or the cardboard Ayatollah or whatever. I guess they're all dead, but who knows where they are, but whatever. Like this kind of stuff is how you make an ugly peace. And every peace is ugly. Go study all of the wars and all of the histories of all the people of Earth. And the reality is that there's very few actual total defeats of civilizations because you never hear about them ever again. What there often is ugly peace, where you end up making a peace deal, which is what President Trump wanted here with Vladimir Putin. You don't agree with Putin. That doesn't mean Trump's a Russian asset, but it does mean he wants peace in the world. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. The Russians were in the Philippines with Marco Rubio begging to go back to the Anchorage, Alaska agreement. You know, Russia did sell us Alaska for like a couple of beans and some tin pots back in the day. So the best part of that deal. But anyway, the point is that like you need your leaders to just be able to build a bridge because peace is the thing that everybody on Earth wants the very most. Not everyone on Earth, but most peoples on Earth just want to prosper and have prosperous nations and don't want to constantly be at war. We're all the ones who die in the war anyway and the ones who suffer for it. And so I guess what I'm trying to say here is you can't find any clip of me disavowing this. This is Trump's good faith effort to end the war in Ukraine. Cost America billions of dollars. And whatever, maybe it would have been an ugly peace with an ugly person. That's what all peaces are. That's what the vast majority of peace is all around the globe. Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like Donald Trump is back to aura farming with his bestie from the first administration. And this is without question the number one aura farm that Trump had in his first term was this. Donald Trump walking in to North Korea.
Good to see you again.
이런 데서 각하를 만나게 될 줄 생각 못했어요.
I've never expected to meet you at this place.
That's good. That's my honor. Would you like me to step across?
각하께서 한 발자국 건너시면 사상 처음으로 우리 땅을 밟으시는 미국 대통령이 되십니다.
If Your Excellency take a step forward, you will be the first U.S. president to cross the line.
I'd be very proud to do that. Okay, let's do it. Come on.
여기 위에까지 올라가면
Donald Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un. That's the best aura farm of President Trump's. And like one of the best things that happened in President Trump's first term was the normalization of relationships with North Korea. This doesn't mean that North Korea or Russia or any of these places are great places or Iran, but it does mean that President Trump is trying his best to create that sort of ugly peace moment, which is what all peace, frankly, is. Unless you burn a nation to the very ground and just slaughter everybody, do you really want that? You know, it's been tried in Korea. Just a reminder that this is the state of the Korean War, that South Korea simply wouldn't exist. South Korea had been thoroughly defeated without U.S. air power and logistics that there would be no South Korea, the communists would have completely won. But with U.S. help and a lot of U.S. lives, 55,000 lost U.S. lives, they were able to defeat the North until they got reinforcements from communist China. And then everybody said, okay, stalemate again. And we'll just call it good at the 38th parallel. All right? We'll just say, have we had enough here? Yeah, we've had enough here. And they created two Koreas, North and South. Okay. But it's that parallel that Donald Trump just crossed. And now it looks like somebody else is crossing Donald Trump. Trump gushes about Kim Jong-un as he ordered scaled back military exercises with South Korea after country's two-word snub over Iran war. Let's go ahead and read. President Donald Trump is scaling back military exercises with South Korea. He noted he has a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, leader of North Korea. Trump also made sure to mention how South Korea is responded when the U.S. asked the country for help with the war against Iran. According to the president, South Korea simply said no thanks to helping denuclearize the Middle Eastern country. So Donald Trump writes this. He says, based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, North Korea, I'm not happy with the fact that the United States has long ago agreed to participate in the joint exercises with South Korea. Exercises are costly, with much of these costs paid for by the United States, as usual, but send a signal totally inappropriate and hostile to a country that, as long as Donald Trump is president, has been unthreatening and respectful. Therefore, based on this fact that it is too late to cancel, I have instructed the Secretary of War to substantially reduce the military exercise. While somewhat unrelated, I recently asked the president of South Korea if he would like to join us for the denuclearization of Iran, and he said, no thanks. So this is Donald Trump playing hardball, right? With American allies, South Korea. Despite the unfriendly look and of this particular picture, there were many there were smiling. Kim Jong-un and I got along great, says Donald Trump. He's now Kim Jong-un posting. Donald Trump did make fun of Kim Jong-un for being fat to his face.
Getting a good picture, everybody, so we look nice and handsome and thin.
Beautiful. 잘생기게 아름답게 찍어달라고.
Nice, handsome, and thin. It's Trump. Anyway, Donald Trump was asked about this in the White House, saying, well, wait a second. Are you now allied with North Korea? Libs went nuts. President Trump's response is hysterical.
How do you respond to folks who say that you are prioritizing the interests of adversaries in North Korea over our longtime partners by scaling back the military exercises?
No, I'm making it much safer. You see, I'm actually making it much safer. Kim Jong-un has always treated me with great respect. And we met on numerous occasions, actually, two primary occasions, spoken and spent time. I understand him, he understands me. You're doing war games. I get along with him. You know, he didn't like Biden, he didn't like Obama, he didn't like anybody. But I get along with him very well. No, what I'm doing is making things safer.
Did he ask you specifically to scale back on those?
Quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this young man. Okay? Don't you find her disrespectful? He understands. Quiet.
I'm with CNN.
Fake news.
I just wanted to follow up on the South Korea question.
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was trying to find out if you had been talking to Kim Jong-un, if he had asked you to scale back.
Exciting times. What will we do when it's not so entertaining? We have 39,000 soldiers guarding you from Kim Jong-un, and you're not going to help us with Iran. That's strange, says Donald Trump. Yeah, that's true. Allies, huh? Trump takes zero BS from the reporters. Trump's going off on South Korea. Why are we protecting them when they won't help us in our protection? Fine. South Korea says the joint drills are still on. South Korea's defense ministry. We will proceed as previously notified and scheduled. Okay, whatever. I'm saying that it's time for President Trump to do another trip to North Korea. Again, like people aren't pragmatic. They don't understand what an ugly peace looks like. I would like for Trump to do a trip to Russia. I would like for Trump to go to Tehran. I'd love that. I want peace in the world. And an ugly peace is better than a hot war. And that because the only people that suffer in war are typically the poorest people, the working class. Like, we all bear the burden and the costs. The cost of $5 gasoline, the cost of like the greatest cost, the cost of our children going off and dying and suffering in war. And so, no, I don't want that. And yes, there's a way to do smart diplomacy and keep the peace. And not everybody gets what they want. But you get something better than the alternative, which is a lot of dead people and a lot of suffering. And I think there's a moral argument to be made against these wars, the vast majority of these wars at all costs. Once again, in modern American history, has there really been a war that's actually benefited America? Good question, right? Modern American history. Any of these ever like any benefit and made your life better? Go walk around major American U.S. cities and ask, does this look like, just look around and ask, does this look like the country that won a war, that won all the wars, right? It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.